Welcome to my Aptera journey. My name is Rich Rodriguez. This video will cover Aptera Motors' recent reverse stock split, Aptera Motors' expanded definition for public offering of shares, and why the split and new definition for public offering of shares. Aptera's public stock listing, of course. Aptera just announced their public stock listing. Wow! Let's dive into this.
Ode to Aptera, the most efficient vehicle on the planet. I love Aptera, it feels so right. Glides down the highway, taking off from the sun. No more drilling.
Hello, my name is Rich Rodriguez and welcome to my Aptera journey. This channel is about the thrill of the Aptera on a twisting, curving mountain road and the rush of adrenaline with 0 to 60 acceleration in under 6 seconds. And the pleasure of charging your car from the sun. And on some models, the confidence of up to 1,000 miles of range. But we don't have an Aptera yet. And some specifications have changed to get Aptera to market quicker. Despite that, there are some things I would like to share with you today. First, though, a little about me. I'm a trained electrical engineer, so I understand how EVs work. I'm an EV owner with over 180,000 miles of experience, so I get range and charging. I have an MBA in finance, and I have been mentored by an investment banker. And in my day job, I read and analyze financial statements every day. And yes, I'm also an Aptera reservation holder, Aptera investor, and Aptera ambassador. So let's dive in today's 3 topics. Part 1, Aptera's reverse stock split. Aptera Motors recently asked shareholders to approve 2 proposals. Proposal 1 was a reverse stock split, and Proposal 2 sought an expansion of what qualifies as entry into a principal market, the stock market. First, there are 2 different kinds of stock splits. The one most people think of is this. You have 1 share, and after the split, you have 2 shares. Most people think of that as a regular split, but there's a little more nuance to it than that. Say your original share was valued at $10 a share. Then after the split, you have 2 shares. Yes, but each share is now valued at $5. Note that the value of your shares is unchanged. 1 share at $10 each or 2 shares at $5 each, worth $10. Your share value remains unchanged. You can split shares in any ratio you want, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, or 1 to 5. It works the same. You get X number of shares valued at 1 over X. Your total share value remains unchanged at that time. Why might you want to do a regular split? One of the most common reasons for a forward split is this. Your stock has done really well. Say the price went from $10 a share to $300 a share. That's great. But when the price gets too high, they become expensive. Then a split makes sense. Tesla, for example, did a number of regular splits. August 31st, 2020, 5-for-1, to make shares more accessible to retail investors and employees. August 25, 2022, 3-for-1, to further enhance affordability and attract a broader investor base. These splits are primarily driven by a desire to make shares more accessible to retail investors and employees, and resulted in significant increases in share liquidity and participation. So now we get what a regular split is. But what's a reverse split? Well, suppose you have 10 shares at $10 a share. Your share value was 10 times 10, $100. Now suppose there's a 1-for-2 reverse split. Mathematically, the number of shares is n divided by 2, while the pricing of shares is n times 2. So after the split, you would have 5 shares at $20 a share. 5 shares times $20 is $100. Your total share value is unchanged. So why might a company want to execute a reverse split? There are a number of reasons why a company might decide to execute a reverse split. Here are the main motives. Prevent delisting. If a stock price falls below $1, it is at risk of being delisted from stock exchanges that have minimum share price rules. The company's shares would then enter penny stock territory and could only be bought and sold as part of over-the-counter stocks. Boost the company's image. A stock that trades in single digits is generally viewed as a risky investment. A reverse split gives the spurious appearance of a more valuable stock. Increase interest in the stock. Higher priced stocks attract more attention from market analysts and more coverage by the business news media. A company that is ignored by analysts and the media is likely to fall into obscurity. Increased trading in the stock. Many institutional investors and mutual funds do not invest in stocks worth less than a set price, often $1 or less. Boosting the stock price, even artificially, can increase purchases of the stock. Well, now we know some about regular and reverse splits. Let's consider why Aptera may have been motivated to do a reverse split. With a new stock price of some $30, Aptera shares would certainly be able to meet the minimum share price requirement of $1 for listing. And by increasing the initial price, this reduces the likelihood of falling below $1. Personally, I believe Aptera shares could easily reach $60 to $120 in short order. Part 2. Aptera's definition for public offering of shares. Aptera recently proposed an expanded definition of what is defined as a qualified public company event, i.e. being listed in the stock market. Prior, the definition for a qualified public offering by Aptera was a $75 million IPO on the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ Global Select Market, or NASDAQ Global Market. Now, a qualified public company event includes any transaction that would have the effect of listing the shares on the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ Global Select Market, the NASDAQ Global Market, or the NASDAQ Capital Market, collectively the stock market. Or a public special purpose acquisition company, SPAC. So why might Aptera Motors want to make this change? Until recently, the two most common ways to get into the stock market was either an initial public offering or a special purpose acquisition company, SPAC. An IPO takes a while, find an underwriter, put an offering statement together, do a roadshow, then pricing, then the initial public offering of shares at a price determined by the investment banking book runners. The book runners are those bankers talking with prospective buyers of the company stock. This pricing usually happens around the time of the roadshow. Also, underwriting fees represent the most significant direct cost associated with an IPO. I understand these fees can commonly range from 4 to 7% of the gross proceeds of an IPO. Smaller or more complex deals could face fees at the higher end or even exceed this typical range. Remember, the second way to traditionally go public is via the Special Purpose Acquisition Company, or SPAC. In recent years, SPACs have proven less and less desirable because many SPAC stock offerings have seemingly made the SPAC investors money, but the companies they financed were not so successful. So SPACs have currently fallen out of favor as a way to go public. So then, why would Aptera Motors have made this change in their qualified public company event? Part 3. Why did Aptera Motors make these changes? Well, as I write this script on the 27th of August, Aptera Motors filed Form S-1 with the Securities and Exchange Commission to register Aptera Motors shares for trading on the public market. This is late breaking news. Yes, with this action, you will soon be able to buy and sell Aptera Motors shares in the open market. My theory about why Aptera Motors was doing a direct listing is now reality. The company has just applied to list its shares with the NASDAQ capital market under the ticker symbol SEV. That's Solar EV, SEV. So the increased share price via the reverse stock split could help with the needed minimum share price needed to list shares on the NASDAQ, and the change with the expanded definition for public offering of shares was needed for direct listing. So there you have it. These changes were made to get the shares of Aptera on the NASDAQ. So try this idea. Perhaps Aptera Motors does a direct listing and at the same time or soon thereafter a new offering of shares. If Aptera Motors issued more shares at the same time as the public offering or shortly after, the proceeds could be used for procuring what is needed for production. Perfect. Oh, and one last thing. In the S-1, Aptera mentioned they are becoming a public benefit corporation. Wow. Whenever I go to the grocery store or shop in general, I always look first for products from a public benefit corporation. Excellent, Aptera Motors. Well done. Well, because the public share listing is late breaking news, I'll likely have a lot more to say about it in a forthcoming video soon. I'm so happy to share this good news from Aptera Motors with you, that you can soon buy and sell shares. But that's all I have for now. Until next time, be well, do good work, and charge on.
Fly. I love Aptera. It feels so right. The future is now. Protect Mother Earth. Keep her healthy for what it's worth. What's your pleasure, Luna or Soul? Let's say taking off from the sun. No more drilling, can't you see? We're done. Aptera, join the fight.